All right, tell us something good this morning. Who's got something good?
I slept really well.
Oh,
Okay.
awesome. We'll take that. Who else?
Great Jeff Glover presentation last week.
I thought so too, Dave. I have like pages and pages of notes. Glad you were there. Thank you for being there. Who else? One more.
Go ahead. We got to interview a new team member yesterday.
Potentially
From the beach?
from the
Yep.
beach.
Oh, I love it. Thank you for sending your guests too. They were amazing and we are gonna follow up before she gets out of the country for a little bit.
Great.
Yeah, great work. All right, let's jump in. It's 8 o'clock and I wanna respect their time. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody. So we're gonna share, so Robin was at a leadership event last week and she wants to share some of the notes. We had, you said Silo and who else?
Housing Wire.
Housing Wire, yeah. If you don't subscribe to Housing Wire, get in their world. They're one of several that I get on a daily basis, and there's a ton of great information that always comes from their stuff, so I was glad to see that they had somebody there. You wanna just jump into that?
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right.
So I want you, if you're not driving, I want you just to write, make a line, just draw a line across a piece of paper. And on the left-hand side of the paper, I want you to write uncertainty. And then on the right-hand side, I want you to write the word certainty. And then in the middle, I just want you to write the word probability. Okay, everybody got it?
The spelling count?
No.
Okay, good.
So basically what this line is showing you, what this graph is showing you is that there's always gonna be uncertainty in every single day of our lives, a certain amount of uncertainty. But we control the certainty, the outcome of the day, depending on our thoughts and our actions every single day. So basically what they were saying, the probability part in the middle is how you think, and it talks about what you're doing every single day. So how to be certain in uncertain times, 100% of the time, is to control the way you think, what you say, and what you do. All right, make sense? If I can control my actions, it moves uncertainty into certainty every single time. So they talked about what big teams do in uncertain times, and right now, would everybody agree that we're in uncertain times? No, yes, maybe? Yes, okay. Thank you, two of you.
Everybody else was uncertain.
Everybody was uncertain. So how to be certain in uncertain times, this is what big teams do. 100% of the big teams do this. They have competitions going on. So some of you might say, well, I don't have a big team, or I'm not a team, I'm just an individual. So what are you doing to compete against yourself then every single day? What goals do you set in the morning to say, okay, I'm going to accomplish this goal. I'm going to compete against myself, my version of myself yesterday, or my version of myself last week, or the week before. And I'm going to make sure that I change uncertainty into certainty.
So Robin and Tony, last week, one of the theme I had on some morning calls that I do, that you guys are gonna start seeing invitations to, by the way, very soon. I said, how well do you know your competitors in the market? Sometimes it's even your mindset about the competition, thinking like, well, I can't compete against, big names that you see out there.
Right.
But then we pull up information and we see like, okay, how many listings have these big names taken? And then it just doesn't show up. Right?
Yeah.
So you have every ability to compete, maybe not go out and take 20 listings, but don't think that they're taking the market away from you.
Yeah. And basically, this sums it up. If I control my actions, it moves uncertainty into certainty every single time.
And I think you have to have the right expectation of the action you're taking so that you don't get discouraged in the action you're taking.
Yeah.
Right? If you think about it with lead generation even, you know, if I'm gonna call somebody today, what's my expectation out of the activity I'm gonna do? If it's gonna be, I'm gonna call this group of people and I expect to get an appointment or find a new client, that may not be what comes out of that activity that
Yeah.
actually shows up. Does that mean it was a waste of time? No, it wasn't, right? Because the expectation could be, I just need to get better or more consistent at talking to the people I already know. Expectation set, goal achieved,
Right.
right? Down the road, will you get a referral? Would you get a call back? Would you get maybe somebody that says, now we're ready to buy or sell? Sure, but if you didn't make that touch.
Yeah, well,
right?
and they.
So sometimes that mindset we gotta keep.
And they dove deep into contacts too, as much as we hear this all the time. I just don't know what to say, or I don't like being on the phone. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be on the phone every day. However, you've got to be in contact of some sort with your database. So, I mean, studies have shown it's 100 contacts for every one closing. So how many people do you need to be in contact with in order to hit whatever that number goal is that you have? So Logan Motoshami, and I probably totally messed that up. He is the lead analyst with Housing Wire. I mean, he studies these things, he studies numbers, he studies what's going on in the market. And so he was there, and he said right now there's 162 million people that are actively working. Our market is really good, for lack of a better word.
Yep.
He said it's the first positive year-over-year growth in real estate sales in years, even with a 7% interest rate. So don't allow all the noise, or he was really frustrated by the TikTokers and the Instagrammers and all these people out there feeding the public information that's just not true. So I want you to hear that like loud and clear. It's just not true. What these people are doing is they're making money off of making reels that people are sucked into, that they're
calling
buying,
education.
that they're calling education. Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
that's our job, is to educate people, and that's why one of the things that we feel is really, really important is that you guys have a better, clear understanding of the market, how the market functions, how the market is behaving.
Yeah.
So that you can truly go out and educate people with reality instead of this other crap that shows.
Yeah, well, exactly. If you're sitting with a seller and by the way, they're like, well, this is a terrible market, interest rates are so high. Well, did you know that it's the first positive year-over-year growth in real estate in years that we've been tracking? And they're gonna go, oh my gosh, no, I didn't know that. Now you've educated them.
Or now is not the time to sell, because all these listings I read or hear or take, everybody's got to reduce their price
Yeah.
to get their home sold. Well, if you start off unrealistic, sure,
Mhm.
you've got to bring it in line with the market is. It doesn't mean that if you look at the sold prices of homes, what's happening to the prices? They're going up.
Right. Just some stats here that you might want to write down. 40% of all homes are free and clear. So no mortgage on them. 40% of the inventory is free and clear of a mortgage. Of the 60% left, they have 47% equity in their home. So almost 50% equity in the home of the 60% of the homes that are still left. That's a lot of equity, and we were talking about this.
Trillions.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier.
Trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in equity in US residential housing.
A lot of conversation around foreclosures are happening, like we're hearing that. I know I'm hearing it on Instagram and on Reels and things to go after foreclosures. He said the reality is only 0.37% of homes are underwater. 0.37%. The other thing that we're hearing
By the way, underwater doesn't necessarily mean that they're a foreclosure.
doesn't mean foreclosure, yeah.
They're just underwater.
The other thing that we're hearing is that institutions own the majority, or they're buying up all the property. And the reality is 0.6% is owned by Blackstone right now. Not even 1% of the homes in the United States are owned institutionally right now, only 0.6%. So again, conversation that you need to know and have those stats with you. Of course, he mentioned the market you sell in is also the market you buy in. What they're seeing is a 30 to 40% price cut. So all these houses that are being listed too high because of what the seller's expectations are from a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. A 30 to 40% price cut is normal right now. So he said you can't compare, you can't even go and do a CMA on from houses that sold 6 months ago or houses that sold a year ago. You have to pull pendings and currents right now for how you're coming up with the price of the home. You can't go back even a month right now.
3 years ago, you could list a house even above, like if you did a CMA, you could list it above that price. The market did catch you and the market caught pretty quick. That was kind of an anomaly out there because normally we don't see that. Rarely does the market catch you if you start high. Normally, when you start high, you end up chasing the market, and that's what we're seeing here. Sellers now have to chase to be in line with the right expectation for the house.
Yeah. Any questions around that? Or any comments? How you feeling about what you just heard?
It's information, it's education.
I got confused about the 30%. Is it 30% of listings or 30% reduction of list price?
30% reduction of list price.
Of list price.
And I think even that sounds high, that might be more of a macro number. I don't think we're seeing that number here,
Yeah.
that high.
That's very high, yeah, that's what I was
We'll
wondering.
look at it, we can definitely do some sampling and see.
Yeah, great question, Ellen.
In showing time, there's a report you can pull on your actual listings to showcase how many homes like that home have above 5% price reductions and how many that have sold actually took them and how that affected the absorption rate.
Yeah, Nicole, that's a great report, especially if you're up against competition, right?
There's a lot of great data and reports that come out of showing time.
All right, great feedback. All right, let's go on to Samuelson is his last name. Errol, Errol Samuelson. He is the Zillow Chief Industry Development Officer. This man studies the market like crazy. Highly intelligent, very charismatic. He was a lot of fun. So what he's started off by saying, and he talked a little bit around the lawsuit and some things that Zillow is doing right now. And I know you all have heard what's going on. There are certain companies out there that will hold all of their listings in-house. So they actually studied that and found that they compared 2 million listings between 2023 and 2024. And those in-house listings versus through the MLS. So these companies that are holding, and we know who they are, right? You guys compete against them all the time. But they're holding them all in-house versus putting them on the MLS. Sellers actually lost 2 billion billion on the table. That's how much they left on the table by leaving these listings in the in-house brokerage versus putting them on the MLS. How crazy is that?
Did they make more money doing this? Is this, who won from this?
The brokerage won, and that's what they said. The only people that win in that scenario is the brokerage. The sellers, obviously, by leaving $2 billion on the table, did not win, right?
So the question is, why would people agree to this?
I would say because they had an agent in front of them that was able to convince them that that was the best thing for them. So again, what he's saying is that you have to be the agent needs to educate the consumer at a higher level. If they're only hearing that that's the best for them and they have a salesperson in front of them who's very convincing, then the seller loses and the agent wins.
Well, imagine if somebody goes, look, you can go ahead and list with us. We already have a buyer. We think it's gonna be a great fit. be simple and not a lot of showings, right? So you're playing the card of it being simple and easy, right? And less intrusive.
Mhm. Yeah.
Sounds like a great deal. Problem is, that's one buyer, but what about any other buyers that may be interested in that property, but they don't even know it exists because it's not on the MLS?
Yeah, and Zillow feels that if the agent benefits from the consumer being educated. Right? Which makes total sense. You all probably know this, beginning in June, Zillow will not market, period, will not market a house that's not in the MLS. So really important, if you're up against an agent that keeps their listings in-house, really important that you know that information, because where's the first place that people go to when they list their house to see it? They wanna see it on, they go to Zillow, Maria, yeah.
This would be an interesting study to see the profile of the seller who would agree to this. Because there seems to be a little bit more to it than meets the eye, I think.
Well, Wiley, I think it's a good script that competitor of ours has. You just have to develop a good script to combat it if you run into that sort of seller.
Well, you also run into a problem that if enough people get angry about it post deal, that you could end up with a big class action lawsuit.
Yeah.
Unless they signed a lot of waivers, et cetera.
I think it's important to remember too, that when we're in front of our sellers, we're doing them a disservice to just say, oh, that's not in your best interest. If we dive into their motivation and how we can solve their problem the best way possible, it's not really about what the other person can or cannot do or is doing. It's about what we can offer to solve the problem that they have, because some sellers like the convenience of not showing. So
And that's okay.
Yeah, Nicole, you nailed it, because think about the guaranteed offer, right? I mean, that's for the majority of the people, that's not in their best interest, but there are people that need that option,
Speed
so.
and or convenience.
Yeah.
And there's a cost to that.
Yeah. So Zillow asked buyers and sellers if they feel the fee that they paid an agent was fair over the last 2 years. 73% of sellers said yes. So they feel your fee is very fair. 73% of buyers also said yes. Interesting, 7% of those sellers said they didn't pay enough for what the agent did. So what I heard there was, we just have to know our value. You have to go in and to Nicole's point, you gotta solve a problem. You have to be a listener. You have to ask more questions and know that they're okay paying your fee. It's usually not about the fee, Chip. It's more about the value that you bring.
Right, it's true with anything, right? I mean, but no matter what I wanna go buy or service or an item or something, I don't mind paying more as long as I know it's worth it, basically, right?
Yes.
And what's the future benefit gonna look like?
Yeah.
Bring a tip jar to closing.
There you go, you can do that, or at least a QR code.
A QR code, yeah, all right, so then they said, agents should be asking themselves, what should I adopt immediately? What are the things in my business that I need to run to fast? They first launched web browsers out to the public to be using in 1994. It took like 10 years for adoption to take place. So Steve Jobs in 2007 launched the first smartphone. It took over 3 years before 20 million people had actually adopted the smartphone. So 3 years for 20 million to adopt. AI, this is fascinating. ChatGPT launched 1 million users within 1 month. And within 2 months, 200 million users within 2 months. It's not 7 years, not 5 years, not 3 years, not 10 years. It is the fastest adopted tech ever. He said, just don't wait. Like, if you're not jumping in full force, you need to be. He said, every piece of software that you'll own going forward will have AI in it at some capacity. So you just gotta be using it. Those stats blew me away. I mean,
60
200
days,
Yeah,
60 days.
yeah.
All right, so out of everything that we shared today, what are some, let's say maybe let's identify 2 or 3 things you would want to know more about at a deeper level. Maybe how about this, reports, where to go get some of these reports and how to use them, would that be helpful? So that you can educate consumers?
Yes, I think the reports and also more about AI because I've been playing with it and it's crazy all of the things that you can do. There's so many things that you can't even imagine that you can do with them unless you start playing with it.
Yeah, totally agree. I've been using it a lot now for a certain aspect of my business world. And it's funny how intuitive it's getting with me. Knowing my style, what I do, what I talk about, what I ask it for. And it'll go back and reference something. Do you want me to recreate this report based on what we did 3 weeks ago, for example? And I'm like, okay, sure. Yeah, it's a little bit kind of freaky at first, but the more we use it, it's pretty impressive what comes out.
Yeah, Nicole, I don't know if y'all saw in the chat, this is really great. We've been doing preliminary pricing on a conservative scale. And then a final price the day of pictures. We go live since so much sits changes from the time we meet till the time we go live. We tell them that they are good with the preliminary price, they're gonna be good with our final price. Really, really good stuff.
Yeah, love it.
I have a quick question. You had stated that in a few months or whatever, Zillow is no longer going to be putting any listings up that are not in the MLS. Does that include FSBOs?
Don't know that.
Yeah, that's a great question, Jenna. I don't know the answer to that.
I would say they probably wouldn't change that aspect because it's not about agency at that point. I think they're just talking about the ones that are originating like in an agency relationship.
Yeah, with a real estate agent. Yeah. Yeah, are these? Go ahead.
Something I was wondering too is looking more into, you were talking 30 to 40% price reduction. What's the Charlotte market? Because I know if you look at Florida, that's probably a realistic number.
Yeah.
In our market, obviously, I think that's high. So being able to break that down maybe for our area a little bit more, trying to figure that out.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. We'll do that for our next call.
So Zach, on the MLS, the reports on the MLS show it at 96.4% of original price right now in the Charlotte market is what we're getting.
There you go. So 3 to 4% reduction.
Yeah. But it's probably more than 30% are actually having price reductions.
Yeah, the amount of units that are taking that reduction, the reduction is smaller percentage wise. Yeah.
Exactly. So Chad, anybody else have anything? Or no? All right, Chad Foster, he wrote a book. He went blind when he was in college. He was an athlete. I don't know if any of you know him, but he talked a little bit around mindset. And so I wanted to share some things that he had to say. Happiness is not a feeling, it's not an emotion. So happiness is not a feeling, not an emotion. It's what you choose to be every single day. Happiness doesn't bring gratitude. Gratitude brings happiness. So how are you starting your day every single day? It is impossible, by the way, for your brain to have a negative and a positive in it at the same time. So think about what you're feeding the brain. It is so, so powerful. So if you're in negativity, I would just encourage you to give gratitude of some sort. It's amazing how fast your day can change. Disruption always precedes growth. So disruption always precedes growth. Don't be distracted by facts. So what he said, what he meant by that is regardless of the interest rates, regardless of what's happening, everybody needs shelter in the world. But we're always going to be buying, we're always going to be selling, whatever else is going on, it just doesn't really matter. he said, he gave a skiing analogy. He's blind, remember, totally blind. And he had never done black diamonds. He was a skier, and his coach said, well, why don't we go ski the black diamonds? So he goes up the hill. He said, had he told me what that hill looked like, I probably would have never started down the hill because I'm blind, right? But instead, I didn't know what the hill looked like, so I started down it anyway. And he finished it, he accomplished it. But had he been standing at the top of the hill and went, oh no, oh no, oh no, look at that thin path, look at all those moguls, look at all the things all the trees that I could run into, because all those limiting beliefs, he would have never done it. So what are you holding yourself back for because of something that you might be fearful of? Or something that you might have listened to on today's newscast, or
Fake news.
big news, yeah, fake news. You say fake news?
Fake.
Fake
Yeah,
news,
Sorry, yeah.
yeah. So I just thought that was a really great perspective from someone who can't see. He said, victims stay trapped, visionaries break through their limitations. So what are you visualizing for your life a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Ahas.
Sometimes it's hard.
It is hard, especially when you're in a moment,
Yep.
a season.
Hey, Robin and Chip, it's Sharon. I think it's a good perspective for new agents. You know, we always say, you don't know what you didn't know. You don't know the bad habits. You don't know the bad markets. You don't know the good markets. Just do your daily activities and there's no blinders on and success will come.
That's right.
Absolutely. Sharon, just contact more people, right?
Just start down the hill.
Start down the hill.
Who
You
cares?
don't know what that hill looks like.
Yeah.
Just start.
Jim, were you gonna say something? Oh, no, okay.
I was just nodding in agreement.
All right, we got 3 minutes. Who's got some ahas? You all saw where Canva is partnering with Keller Williams, right? You all saw that? That's exciting stuff.
Oh, that's new. I didn't see that.
Okay, yes, so Canva is gonna be integrating with Command and a special partnership with Keller Williams. I'm telling you all, that's the first of many partnerships moving forward. It's an exciting time for us now with our new partnership that we have with
Our capital partner.
our capital partners. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of great stuff coming. If you haven't signed up for Mega Camp, I would highly recommend you do that. They're promising an experience like no other. It's gonna be fun. What else?
Hello, this is Maria. How are you?
Good.
Good. I have a quick question. So if we are allowed to use Canva, it's gonna be with Canva Pro?
Yeah, so I don't have the particulars yet, Maria, on exactly like if you have an account right now that you're paying for or how that's gonna work. They just kind of dangled that carrot in front of us, but I don't have the particulars as of yet, but we should have them anytime now. As soon as I do, we'll send that out to everyone.
Sounds great.
We want you all to be the first to know when things are coming down the pipeline. When I find out things, you'll find that I'm gonna let the market center know and our agents know. And then as we get more information, I'll make sure you have them too.
I should also remind everybody, next Monday is Memorial Day.
Oh, please do that.
Next Monday is Memorial Day, no call. But we'll see everybody again then on the first Monday in June. And again, just look for some things. We're gonna get some things to Liz today that I'm doing, some new things I want to do here for you guys in the office. To start watching some of the calendar invites and new things that are gonna be coming out, actually starting this week.
Yeah, and just remember, guys, the biggest thing that everybody talked about over the last couple days, last week when I was in Dallas was relationships. Relationships are so important. We used to be, it's all about us and what we can do for you and our marketing plan and look at me, look at me, look at me. Those days are pretty much gone. It's gonna be all about getting into relationships with our people at the deepest level, asking another question, asking another question, asking another question. And if you can do that at a high level, you will win the market regardless if you've been in a real estate agent for a day or 100 million years. It won't matter. It's the person who can get into relationship the fastest. So they really just, they went really, really deep into that. And we're gonna have some classes coming up. Thank you to those that put in the chat that you'd be willing to teach some classes on some different things. Appreciate you guys so much. If you're an expert at something, please let me know, because Chip and I, we certainly aren't an expert at everything. And if you do and you have a passion, please let us know. If you want to get back to the Market Center, we'd love to have you teach a class as well. Yeah, thanks, Rhonda. Anything else? Anybody have anything? All right, go have a blessed day. Thank you so much. Thank you, Amber.
Thank you all for
Appreciate
being
you.
here.
Bye, guys. Have a great Monday. Have a great week.